Hey everyone, we are back. And okay, so let's just get this question out of the way first. Was this episode worth the long wait? And in short answer, yes. For me, the one thing that made this episode special is from the very first scene of seeing the sun rise on the horizon and hearing the musical score kick in, it all felt like the perfect way to tell us as the viewers, we know you've been waiting so long, but we're back. We are back and we are here to deliver. So it's like Toei saying, yeah, we're basically kicking it into overdrive with the return of the anime. Also, I will say this. I don't know if my mood on this is likely to change the more I grow acclimatized to the anime's return, but the pacing of this episode felt rather immaculate. Like there was never a point in the episode where it felt like it was slowing itself down or it needed to kind of just ease up on how much it adapted in order to not catch up with the manga. It felt like rather like the pacing felt rather smooth, and like it just in how it was hitting us with one moment after another. In fact, I think the only slow part of this episode was the recap, but even that felt relatively painless. And yeah, just as a whole, watching this episode was kind of the perfect return to the anime I could have asked for. And just getting into the episode itself, I one thing I weirdly appreciate about this episode is how it didn't even open in a big bombastic way, but rather a quiet, intense feeling of subtle dread as the episode starts at Fuchsia Village, with everyone reading the newspaper about what happened with Luffy and Garp, and that subtle ominous note playing in the background, showing everyone on edge. Like the thing about that is, for better or worse, Toei has gained a reputation for recycling their musical scores, but in this case, pairing it alongside that feeling of everyone's quiet, unspoken dread in the bar, like it really sets the scene of uncertainty until the very moment where shit hits the fan, and we get a but before we get a giant quake, which, yeah, for anime onlys, that is very much a prelude of a major reveal coming very soon. But in the immediate, yeah, the government really fucked the state of the world by destroying Lucia, and it shows the monstrous powers of the world that the Flame possesses just from the fact that it was able to cause such seismic destruction and activity across the world. But this is a power that no mortal should ever possess. Although that in itself begs the question: are these fuckers like the Five Elders and 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 even and their leader even human themselves? Now, so also in saying that, before I continue any further with the episode, there is something I do want to talk about, which is, as many know, Kazuki Yao, the original voice actor who was voicing the character of Frankie since the beginning of the series, he retired, and a new actor Subaru Kimura stepped in, and I say that because there is more of this episode after the credits, and it's in that like after credits moment of the episode where we get a little taste of Subaru's performance and Subaru's new performance and how he's approaching Frankie, and and just being honest about it, this might, I'm not gonna lie, with Subaru, it's gonna take a little of adjusting to, because I can already tell he very much has a deeper register and vocal tone compared to Kazuki. So I don't know if we're gonna get that same amount of hyper and light energy we got from Kazuki. But in either case, this is a chain that at least for me is gonna take a few episodes to get used to. And yeah, okay, but returning to the episode itself, even even after all that would happen in the beginning, though, the episode still wasted not a second in telling us straight up, the Navy is here. They have all of Egghead surrounded by a nation-sized fleet of Marines, including Kizaru himself, the nine vice admirals and just 30,000 soldiers. But yeah, but also on the other side, you got sea beasts blockading the island and pacifista soldiers patrolling the perimeter. So Toei really did a fantastic job at kind of capturing the scale of the Egghead conflict and how they did make it feel like a standoff. And even more than that, I loved the conversation between Sentomaru and Kizaru. It's just two soldiers who do have this respect for each other, who don't want to do this, but are still forced by circumstance on opposite sides of this fight. And I love the subtle little jab Kizaru takes at himself and saying, "I'm just a puppet of the government." Like, it's a nice line that does show just how self-aware Kizaru is and of his position, and whether he likes it or not, what he's being forced to whether he likes or not what he's being forced to do, which in itself, this is something he's being forced to do, which in itself also reveals that I think in some ways also reveal his true feelings are on this matter, but that's for another discussion when we get deeper into the whole thing. With all that said, this episode had, in my opinion, the perfect bait and switch. As when York calls the Five Elders, it perfectly shows her confidence and how she's seemingly the one in control, the one who's holding all the cards and saying, hey, what are you doing here? I want to become a celestial dragon. I want to help you. So just come pick me up, come save me, kind of thing. And then the bomb drops where she reveals she needs to be rescued because she's actually been kidnapped by the Straw Hats. Like, it's honestly one of those things where in some respects it plays out even better in the anime than it does in the manga, particularly because of the performance of York Seiyu. So credit to Matsumi like Tamura for just going all out in really tapping into how uncondescendingly annoying yet manipulative York was in this moment when switching to a pathetic sobbing mess when the big reveal that she was captured hit. Like, girl played it amazingly, and York's declaration that she was captured is basically in some ways tantamount to Luffy also saying, "Come on, come get me, I'll kick your asses, and I just want to get out of here." And yeah, as like Luffy, I don't think it really works like that. But yeah, as a whole, this was probably one of the best returns to the anime. In fact, I dare say it's actually kind of the best out of all the like returning episodes we've got after long hiatuses. I think this one is the absolute best because not only did this feel like a refreshing return, but there was just something so good about this episode. A feel-good feeling that unlike with those other episodes that I enjoyed, I didn't really like lose myself in the episode, so to speak. I didn't really find myself like I was just. It felt like with those other episodes, I could very easily like take a break, walk away, do something else, and then come back and return to watching the episode. But with this one, it's like I stayed glued to this seat watching this episode from basically beginning to end, and so I feel like I genuinely kind of got lost in this episode. It's something I can't really. This is something I can't really say about the other episode, the returning episodes, because even though I enjoy those other episodes, this one was the first one that felt like the most relaxing to watch. To the point where I even lost track of time, frankly, sometimes. But so yeah, as a whole, this was, again, I really enjoyed this episode. It felt like it just felt so good to return to the anime again after so fucking long. I honestly, I'm really glad we're back. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Blue Sky, Analyst Crunchyroll, be sure to notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone.